In today's world, it is so easy to get sucked into being pessimistic and feeling like everything is a disaster. We turn on the news and we see all these upsetting things going on, and for many of us, we can look at our own life and our own circumstances and feel like nothing's going our way and that everything is hopeless. And unfortunately, once we start thinking this way and start focusing on the negative so much, it can turn into this downward spiral where we stop being able to see possibilities in our life because, of course, what we focus on is what grows. So today I want to talk about a little mental tool that we can use that really can help us overcome this and start to reverse this negative spiral. And it has to do with something called the red car theory. So I'll quickly walk you through what it's all about and how we can use it to start to feel more positive and optimistic about our lives and to begin to see all the possibilities for us that really do exist. But first, if you're new here, my name's Nina. I help people transform their lives through understanding their own psychology and letting go of the negative mindsets that hold us back. And today's method is something that really clicked for me, so I truly hope it is just as transformative for you. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, if I were to ask you if you saw any red cars when you were driving today, what do you think you would say? You probably would not have a definitive answer. You might come to the conclusion that it's likely that you saw a red car, but chances are you don't remember specifically because it's not something that you were really looking out for. But if I told you that I would give you $50,000 tomorrow if you could spot a red car, I can almost guarantee you that you would be a lot more attentive when you were driving the next day and almost certainly find at least one red car, probably dozens of red cars, because in reality, red cars are around us all the time. We're just not paying attention to that. And when we get sucked into being pessimistic and this negative spiral, the exact same thing happens, except instead of not seeing red cars, which is really just a metaphor, we stop being able to see positive experiences and possibilities. We become blind to them. And this is because our brain and our life is like this giant algorithm that only shows us the things that it thinks we want to see. Because as human beings, we have both selective attention and a negativity bias. Now, selective attention is our brain's ability to focus only on what it thinks is important and filter out everything else. And unfortunately, when we have the habit of always focusing on the negative or consuming a lot of negative content, we actually train our brain to believe that this is what we should be looking out for. We teach it that these are the things that should be prioritized in our mind. And because of our negativity bias, our brains are already much more attentive to negative stimuli than positive. And what can make all of this a lot worse is that most of us also tend to struggle with something called confirmation bias, meaning that we naturally interpret information in a way that confirms existing beliefs or expectations, even if those beliefs are negative. So if we have the belief that the world is terrible or that terrible things always happen to us, we're going to unconsciously filter out or downplay any positive information or experiences, but still readily pick up on anything that reinforces our negative outlook. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where the more we focus on our negativity, the more evidence we're going to find in our life to support it. But if we think about the red car theory, we can understand that just like we can train our brain to more readily spot a red car than a gray car, let's say, we can also train our mind to actively seek out positive experiences and opportunities in our life and to focus a lot less on negative experiences. And we can start this process by becoming more aware of the negative things in our life that we are consuming both consciously or unconsciously, and start to reduce them or start to let them go completely, whether it be negative people that we're following on social media or toxic people in real life or certain news stations that tend to sensationalize stories and make us feel afraid or angry, or anything else that would obviously make us feel a lot more pessimistic about our life. And then we need to train our brain to start noticing the positive experiences around us, to start searching our surroundings for the happy things instead of always blurring out into autopilot and completely tuning them out. We need to start to actively search for red cars everywhere. And when we find them, we need to savor them. And by the way, the psychological technique of savoring is something that I recently made a video about. I will go ahead and link that down in the description box below, because that is another way to greatly increase our happiness. But these are the types of things that we need to start doing if we are ever going to change this mindset. We need to start designing our focus and making better decisions about what things in life really deserve our attention. Because if we don't, we are going to find that our default algorithm is going to continuously center on everything wrong with the world, because that is what we have taught it to do. But if instead we can start to notice, appreciate, and celebrate the good things that we can find in our life, we're going to see that focus start to shift and we become a lot more optimistic. So as you're going through the day, just tell yourself, let's look for some red cars today. Let's try to see some positive things in the world, because they are there. We just have to open our eyes to them. And when we do this, it really does change our entire perspective, our entire outlook, even when our circumstances stay exactly the same. And this has nothing to do with blind optimism or toxic positivity. It's just about designing your life and your priorities. Remember, again, what we focus on grows. So we want to focus on things that inspire us and pull us forward. So try the red car theory and let me know if it does help you to shift your mindset. This is something that I really do try to remember myself. And as someone who tends to catastrophize, it's something that I have found to be very, very helpful. So as always, I truly hope you found today's video to be insightful. If you did, please like it, share it, and definitely become a subscriber if you aren't one already. I would love it if you stayed connected. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.